we've started the actual scene excavation. I just want to re-emphasize to everyone, I've said it several times, but this is going to be a slow process. If you look at the amount of damage that this building suffered, not only from the fire, but from the collapse and on top of itself, it is going to be a painstaking process to get down into the layers of the building and start digging through that debris to find what our fire investigators need to find to start determining a cause. So that's going to be a slow process, and we get one shot at it, and we're going to do it as slowly and deliberately as we need to make sure that everything is done right. Today we've completed somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 interviews. Those interviews have been with tenants that resided in the building. They've been with business owners from the businesses on the first floor of the building. They've been with some of the firefighters that responded initially, and those are critical to us. The people that were living inside this structure can tell us what they smelled, what they saw, what they heard when they realized that there was a fire somewhere in the building. And so all of that information is critical when we can overlay that with what our investigators are finding as they're going through the scene. On the scene today, we brought in additional heavy equipment. We brought in a crane, which we used initially. We attached a basket and lowered fire investigators into the scene because there are several parts of that scene that just aren't stable enough at this point for us to enter from the ground on. So we came in from above, we lowered the fire investigators into the scene to start making their initial observations. So they're looking at things like how the building collapsed, how the structure, where the structure gave out, those types of things, and then also looking for things as simple as burn patterns and that kind of information. We have just this afternoon started a 3D mapping of the scene. That's what our crew right here is doing. That 3D mapping will be used to recreate this structure in a digital format, and then we use that for several purposes, but we'll be able to use that to start, as we start getting information about the fire, we can use that to map how the fire moved throughout the building, and also it'll give us additional structural information about the collapse. I think it's important to point out that we're really looking at two different things here in this investigation. We obviously are looking for the cause and origin of the fire, but along with that, we're going to spend a great deal of time looking at the collapse of the east side. We feel like it's very important to find as much of that, find out about as much about that collapse as we possibly can, so that we can hopefully prevent that from ever happening again. And that information we can share down the road with the fire service. We're all brothers, and this fire scene is certainly more personal than most, and so we will be spending a lot of time on that excavation. You have seen on and off throughout the day today a series of canines running over the top of the structure. Those are cadaver canines. We believe that all of the residents of the building and all of the tenants of the building have been accounted for, but our investigation and our interviews have told us that this building has had an ongoing problem with homeless people coming into the building and spending the night. So out of an abundance of caution, we want to make sure that there is no one in the structure that was not accounted for. So we'll continue to run those cadaver dogs through the structure for the rest of today and all day tomorrow, just out of an abundance of caution. Again, we don't think there's anyone missing, but unfortunately, if it were someone that was homeless, that may not have been reported yet. So we're just doing that out of caution.